Government was calling for R. Kelly to serve those 25 years consecutively to his New York sentence, where he was already convicted. The judge here in Illinois federal court decided he will serve 1 year consecutively and 19 years to be served concurrently, meaning combining the Illinois and New York cases, R. Kelly will serve 31 years. Kelly is still under indictment, though, in the state of Minnesota.
This is Ultra Izzy.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Well, today I wanted to discuss a story that I heard recently. Kind of goes back a little bit. I was on social media and someone had made a post about R. Kelly and like posted a song of his, and I had just read that, you know, he had some allegations towards him. And I commented, I said, hey, did you hear about everything that he was found guilty of? And it was some pretty crazy stuff. And we'll get to more on that here in a little bit. But, you know, she was just like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's okay. People get arrested all the time. I'm guessing she didn't know exactly what he was found guilty of because it's some pretty heinous stuff. But she just pretended like it was no big deal, and she was still celebrating his music. And that really bothered me. And I'm not one of these like Karens and like social justice warriors, you know, that just has to ruin everyone's day. I just asked myself, how does she not know more about what's going on with him? Is it being hidden from the mainstream media? Is it being hidden from just the mainstream, right? Just pop music, pop culture, everything. Because I was like, how, you know, because I watched it on True Crime Daily. It's a great podcast if you guys have never seen it before. I believe they have a channel on YouTube. But I heard all the stuff that he did on that channel.
For 4.5 weeks, there was testimony, 46 witnesses, 11 victims, 6 of which were underage. We're talking boys and girls. There was documentary evidence. There was DNA evidence. There was audio evidence. There was video evidence. All of this came in, and then you had expert testimony to explain some of the behavior of some of the survivors. So this was a well put together prosecution by the team at the Eastern District of New York and by Homeland Security and the FBI that resulted in a conviction.
And then when I saw her post that, and like no one knew, and people were commenting in the comments going, girl, I remember his music back in the day. He's so sexy. He's this and that. Like the people who were commenting had no idea. They even went as far as defending his allegations and conviction, I guess. At the time, I think he was already convicted. But they even went as far as defending it or pretty much just going, oh, it's not that big of a deal kind of thing. Just because, I don't know, they're maybe just being stubborn or whatnot. But yeah, so I guess with R. Kelly, for more than 2 decades, R&B singer R. Kelly has faced allegations of sexual abuse. The accounts went back to the 90s, with many centering on predatory pursuit of teenage girls. So, I mean, this goes back a long way. You know, I think he like married Aaliyah and she was a teenager at the time. So that's whenever people, I think, started getting their spidey sense started kind of tingling about that one. And I believe that was her name. Forgive me if I was wrong on that. But in 2022, he was jailed for 30 years. So he was found guilty. That's what I was referring to. He was found guilty for 30 years after being found guilty on 8 counts of sex trafficking and 1 count of racketeering, which, again, I think a lot of people don't know this information. They don't know the details. And I'm just curious why. And I'm curious. I have my ideas. And again, we'll talk about that here in a minute. But apparently just recently he was convicted of 20 more years of child sex crimes. 20 more years here recently. I think that was in Chicago. So honestly, the way I see it is the longer the better for what he's done. I'm not going to go over exactly what he's done. I will try to find the video of True Crime Daily and link it below where they actually name some of the things that he did. They list them and they actually go into detail. Not too bad of detail. Enough detail that would probably get this video maybe taken down. I'm not sure, you know, they've been coming after me lately on this channel for some reason, as small as it is. But my main question, I guess, for this whole video really is, why is R. Kelly's music still on Apple Music and Spotify? Now, I did read an article that said in 2018 that Spotify was removing R. Kelly's music from playlists. Now, I'm not sure what happened in 2018. I'm sure it was one of the slew of crimes that he's committed. It happened to come in on 2018, but Spotify just decided in 2018 they wanted to take his music down. But they didn't really take it down. They just took it off of playlists, but his music was still on there for some reason. I guess maybe because they still want to make money off of him. I have no idea. But even now in 2023, it's on Spotify and it's on Apple Music. And I'm just blown away by this because we're living in the age of cancel culture where you can't, sneeze too loud without getting in trouble and getting called out and getting canceled by people, right? The woke mob coming after people. And that really gets me scratching my head. Why not more people know about the story? Is it being buried? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on with this, right? There's a lot of crimes against children going on that we've, people say that it's a conspiracy theory, right? I think Kuchar was out there, was fighting for children's rights and stuff like that. And he was saying that there's a lot of this stuff that goes on behind especially in Hollywood and stuff like that. I mean, there's lots of stories that I've heard that come out of Hollywood about this sort of stuff. And apparently you can't talk about it or you will get canceled in Hollywood. You won't get any more work. And so a lot of people can't talk about it. But it's just, it makes me think that there's a lot more of this going on than what we know. I've heard that before. People say it's a conspiracy theory. To me, if it's crimes against children and crimes against women, why are we saying this is a conspiracy theory? Why aren't we asking more questions about this? I mean, if you look at the headlines, right? If you look at the news, at least once a month, I wish it was more, and who knows, it might be more, but at least once a month, I'm hearing of a big trafficking ring involving women and children are getting broken up, right? There's countless amounts of stories that are coming out about this, and the news will talk about them, but they don't go in depth with it. That should be the number one story on every news broadcast. And I'm sure maybe some smaller affiliates it is, but I'm just thinking that this should be blasted as much as they talk about certain crimes, right? Like the mainstream media will cherry pick certain crimes or certain stories, and they'll really just talk about them for weeks and weeks and weeks. This should be a story. Crimes against kids, crimes against women, crimes against, just trafficking, all that stuff should be talked about a lot more, and it's not. And it makes me wonder why. Because, I mean, we've heard of that woman who was on the Superman show back on WB, Allison Mack. She was found to be in some sort of a sex cult. And it turns out that I think that R. Kelly was as well. He was involved in child abuse videos, which, again, right there should get you 100 years. But apparently, he I don't know, he has a good lawyer or he has a lot of money. I have no idea. Allegations of a cult. So, again, the Allison Mack thing. So we know they exist because she was found guilty of being in one and being the head of one or something like that. Trafficking, prostitution, and child sex crimes. I mean, this guy has done a bunch of stuff, and he's just one person. Apparently, he was also found guilty of witness intimidation. So he was trying to intimidate witnesses. I don't know if he was trying to get them taken out, if you know what I'm saying, or what he was doing, but it was enough for them to notice. And we all hear about stuff like that happening all the time. There's no witness. They can't come testify, and the case gets thrown out of court, right? So I'm guessing that's where it's going to go. But I mean, going back to the Spotify and Apple Music thing, listen, I don't really do cancel culture. I'm not a big fan of that, especially when it comes to freedom of speech. This is not freedom of speech, right? But here recently, a lot of people have been getting canceled. I mean, you had Kanye. He got canceled for some anti-Semitism. J.K. Rowling said there's only two genders, so she got canceled by people. Elon Musk was canceled because they tried to cancel him because he bought Twitter, and he made it for everyone instead of just the left, right? Because they're using it as a propaganda tool. That's another video. But so in the age of people getting canceled, you would think that everyone would be jumping ship on R. Kelly. From what I'm reading, these things that he's done are horrendous. And for him to only get 30 years, now he'll be an old man. He'll probably be in his, 80s maybe by the time he gets out of prison, if not more. But still, I don't understand, the whole conspiracy theory, they talk about the cabinets, right? You guys, I'm trying to walk the line on this with YouTube. So, the whole cabinets thing that the people were saying was a conspiracy theory. They were moving children around doing that. You have the pizza shop in LA, I think, that was a conspiracy theory. When you have, Ashton Kutcher coming out saying, hey, this stuff's all over, everywhere. We just can't talk about it. And you have other people speaking out about it. Is it that hard to believe that people are sort of hiding this stuff in plain sight and they would go and do these really weird things to get this kind of stuff done. I mean, because R. Kelly is letting you know that it's going on. I mean, this guy's like a freaking millionaire, and he was doing it, without even like he didn't even care. He didn't care about getting caught. He didn't care about anything. Allison Mack was doing it, right? These people in Hollywood are doing it. So why aren't more people talking about this? I get it, but I just don't understand how crimes against children can be considered a conspiracy theory. That should be one that we should all unite on and be like, hey, maybe we should do a little more digging on this, right? But going back to the conspiracy theory thing. I mean, look at Balenciaga. It's just another example. Sorry, I'm sort of going off a script here, but Balenciaga was one of the most latest, right? They're doing it out in front of everybody, right? And they were kind of canceled, and they came out and apologized and blamed it on their photographer or whatever, their designer. Like, nah, dude, you guys are into that kind of stuff too. But I guess the main question I have is, well, how come we're not talking more about this? Why is this music still on Spotify? I'm not really all about cancel culture. I do believe in there's consequences for your actions. So if you do something stupid and your boss fires you, well, that's on you. But I do believe in freedom of speech. This is not an example of freedom of speech. I think that if he was found guilty of all these crimes, he should be taken off of Spotify and Apple Music. And I'm not trying to call for a boycott. People, you guys can do whatever you want. I'm just saying, I just think it's really hypocritical. I think it's really weird that, I guess maybe he makes Spotify a lot of money. And if that's the case, then you're saying that money is more important than these children's lives. How about you send the money to these people whose lives he's ruined, right? You want to do that, take the Spotify money from R. Kelly's account and send it to these families of these children that he's abused and these young girls that he's abused and done these horrendous things to, I just don't get it. I don't understand why. I have an idea why it's not being talked about more. I do believe that there's a lot of high up people. If you want to talk about Epstein, everyone says that he didn't kill himself. There's a reason why people say that, because the details behind that are they don't make any sense. They don't add up. And they want to gaslight you. They just lie to your face and say, no, there's nothing to see here. And apparently he was removed from the world, if you will, for the things that he knew. So a lot of high up people with a lot of money are probably involved in this stuff, and that's why they're trying to bury it. They're trying to bury the lead. They're trying to bury the story. Oh yeah, R. Kelly, he gets taken out. Okay, well then that's it. We won't talk about it anymore. Lock him up, throw away the key, and then we won't talk about it anymore. Because I'm thinking there's a lot more people out there who are involved in this stuff, and who knows? Apparently, Elon Musk is going to release, or someone's going to release, anyways, the names on the list who are going to Epstein Island and who were possibly doing things on that island that we all sort of already read and heard about over the last couple of years, which are probably things related to things that R. Kelly did. So, yeah, guys, I really think that there's a lot of layers to this. My main questions, I guess right now, just on surface level, is why his music hasn't been taken off of Spotify or Apple Music. Again, I already told you guys my thoughts on that, why I think so. I can't prove it. Again, if you guys want to say it's a conspiracy theory, that's fine. But I do think that there's a lot of this stuff going on in the world. It's, again, the news talks about it every now and then. They'll show the 20 police officers who had a sting operation to find these people, and immediately they'll put the story out and immediately it gets buried, because I guess maybe the fake news doesn't want you talking about it, because maybe they're trying to hide things that they know people who are involved in this stuff and they don't want to get them popped. Maybe they're writing their checks for them. Who knows? This world's crazy. There's a lot going on, a lot of evil things going on in this world. But yeah, so just keep asking questions, guys. Don't be afraid to ask questions. You guys don't get yourself fired from work or anything, and don't go crazy with this stuff. But I just think it's crazy that R. Kelly's music is still on Spotify and Apple Music, and who knows where else. Maybe it's still on YouTube, right? Because I think YouTube has a music service, and that's only the two music services I looked at because they're on my phone. So. But yeah, so guys, what do you guys think about this story? Do you guys think that that Spotify should cancel R. Kelly? Do you think the world should cancel R. Kelly? Or do you guys think that they should leave him up? And I'm just crazy and I'm just being a Karen for talking about this, right? Let me know in the comments, guys. All comments are welcome. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this story, guys. But thank you guys again for watching the channel. Thank you guys for subscribing. and for liking the video. It shares the algorithm. I want more people to see this content, so please, if you can, like the video, share it, whatever you can, just to help the channel grow. It's still very, very new. But again, thanks to guys for everything. Also follow me on Twitter, Ultra Izzy. Like I always say, guys, stay fearless and stay free, and I'll see you guys on the next one.